After a new poll revealed a shocking collapse by Kamala Harris in the Hispanic vote, Trump leading by 11 points with the Hispanic vote, which is a dagger for Kamala Harris, seemingly right on cue. A claim that Trump once disparaged Mexican-American Army Private Vanessa Guillen, a young soldier who was killed at Fort Hood in Texas by a supervisor who was harassing her. The story, as you can tell, has no political angle whatsoever. It never did. It was simply the story of a terrible murder at a military base. It was a very sad story. Trump had no personal obligation to the family of the victim, but invited them to the White House anyway, where he offered to personally help the family with their funeral costs. This is a generosity to strangers that Trump has become known for over the years. He gives out a lot of money to cops that have been hurt, soldiers that have been hurt. This is how it looked at the White House that day. Take a listen.
With the Texas Rangers and FBI, and they told me that because the investigation was still open, they would call me as soon as I would be able to receive.
Well, I have to do that.
Right, and I feel like we should be able to.
That's no good. We got to take care of that.
Right.
When would you like to have the funeral? When?
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible. I agree. As soon as possible with the funeral. We'll make sure that happens.
Ya,
Okay?
es que tienen que entregármela ya.
Thank you.
Ya, porque es.
Where will you have the funeral? Do you know?
Houston.
In Houston?
Yeah.
All right. And if I can help you out with the funeral, I'll help you out. I'll help you out financially. I'll help you.
Thank you.
Nobody else does that, you know. No other. Have you ever seen a politician offer to personally help pay for anything? Never, ever did they ever do that. Trump's under no pressure to do that, under no obligation to help. He volunteered. Didn't have to. Nobody expected him to. He just did. Jeff Goldberg from The Atlantic, once again citing unnamed sources, claims Trump followed up later about the funeral, asking about it, and was told that the cost was $60,000. Expensive. At which Goldberg claims Trump became angry. It doesn't cost $60,000 to bury a effing Mexican. He turned to his chief of staff, Mark Meadows, and issued an order, don't pay it. Later that day, he was still agitated. Can you believe it? Effing people trying to rip me off, he alleges that Trump said. The perfect story to swing back the Hispanic vote toward Kamala and save the election. And it just happens to come out 14 days before the election. The perfect timing, right when early voting is kicking off in full swing. It was immediately refuted by everyone there, by the way, including Mark Meadows himself, Meadows' spokesman, a third staffer, as well as Trump's comms advisor, who actually tweeted out something very interesting, saying, on the left, I sent The Atlantic a comment saying President Trump absolutely did not say that, referring to the alleged comments about Ms. Guillen they printed. On the right, The Atlantic translated that comment to, didn't hear Trump say it. Treat this dishonest piece accordingly. So he said, it was not said, he was there, it was not said. The Atlantic claims he's saying that he did not hear it said, which marginalizes his claim, of course. And indeed, it is a dishonest piece. As you go further into it, Goldberg also attempting to rehash a fake controversy from over the summer, where he writes, later in August, Trump caused controversy by violating federal regulations prohibiting the politicization of military cemeteries after a campaign visit to Arlington, in which he gave a smiling thumbs up while standing behind gravestones of fallen American soldiers. Well, Jeff, and we can take this full screen for a second because this was a fake controversy, the families of the fallen are all smiling as well. Yes, they're sad in that moment, but they're proud. They're with the president. It was a very wonderful moment, as you can see. And Jeffrey Goldberg, the editor of The Atlantic, somehow didn't have space to show the actual picture that we're showing you right here in his mile-long online hit piece. He just couldn't squeeze enough space on the internet to show you that picture. This is what they do.